and thanks for staying with us. The Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service speaks on the seizure of arms at the port. Also on customs report, more seizures recorded by Eastern Marine in the country. Plus more report. I am Egeseme Ejie. Stay tuned. The Customs Controller General has said that no more importation or illegal importation of arms into the country through the port. He made a pledge in Lagos when he officially handed over the guns to the agency involved in handing of guns in the country.
The Controller General of Customs, Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, has led the handover of 399 pump-action rifles and component parts to the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons, as well as cannabis-infused products valued at 373.8 million naira to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, reaffirming the Nigeria Customs Service's commitments to national security and the fight against illicit trafficking.
The occasion is significant because it demonstrates our collective commitment to strengthening national security and ensuring that arms and other control items are properly accounted for and managed in accordance with the law. The Nigerian Customs Service remains committed to supporting the federal government's efforts to combat the illicit movement and production of small arms and light weapons. We recognize that effective border management requires not only enforcement, but also strong collaboration among all relevant security and regulatory agencies. The handover taking place today, therefore, represents more than a transfer of items. It is a symbol of interagency cooperation, accountability, and our shared responsibility to protect the peace and security of our dear nation, Nigeria.
The handover ceremony brought together senior customs officers, representatives of security agencies, and members of the media, highlighting the growing collaboration among law enforcement institutions in tackling transnational crimes and safeguarding the nation. Speaking at the event, Adeniyi described the exercise as a demonstration of the service's determination to protect Nigeria's borders and support the federal government's efforts to combat the illegal trafficking of arms, ammunition, and narcotics.
I invite all of you to look carefully at what is laid out behind the camera all the way down. 399 rifles. Somebody must have paid for them. Somebody arranged their shipment, and somebody was waiting here to collect them. And somebody somewhere in this country was going to be on the wrong end of this item. This is why we have gathered this morning to hand over to the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons. Weapons like this are not made in Nigeria. They are made elsewhere. And they reach us through the ports, through the borders, and airports that the service is charged with guiding. We are also approaching another electioneering season, and I do not need to describe to this audience what several hundred firearms in the wrong hands will mean for the peace of our communities or the conduct and sustenance of our democracy. I would therefore say this, that consignment did not reach its destination. This particular one did not reach its desired destination, and officers of this service are the reason for that. Let me now return to the point I asked you to hold. That container was found because of a system, and that system exists because this administration, President of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, chose to invest in it. Under the Trade Modernization Project, we have replaced manual processes with Bodogu, which brings clearance, automated risk management, cargo tracking, and non-intrusive inspection into one single platform. The purpose of that investment was never to be revenue alone. We cannot open every container that enters this country. And I tell you, no customs administration anywhere in the world can. What technology gives us is the ability to know which container to open. What we are looking at this morning is the capability of doing precisely what it was built to do. But a seizure by itself proves very little. And I want to be very careful about that. So let me tell you what has happened between the time we announced and now. 2 suspects, Robert Eze and Ejiogu Godson, are now in our custody. One of them was arrested on the 31st of July at a bonded terminal where he was attempting to procure the release of this container. Both have been remanded by the Federal High Court in Lagos. An arraignment is set for the 25th of July. And today, of August, I beg your pardon, 25th of August. And today, the weapons themselves passes into the custody of the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons under the Office of the National Security Advisor. We will not allow the ports and the borders of this country to be used to bring in arms or anything else that threatens the safety of Nigerians. Our officers will stay vigilant. We will sharpen our intelligence. We will strengthen our risk systems. And we will work shoulder to shoulder with our sister agencies to find the people who attempt this and to stop them. And I say one thing to our personnel as plainly as I say it to anyone outside the service. Any officer who lends himself to this trade or who uses his position to ease the passage of goods like this will not and will never find shelter or protection within the Nigeria Customs Service. I thank you for the cooperation we continue to enjoy. Nobody does this work alone. It is done by institutions that share what they know, that trust one another, and that are willing to place their mandates beneath the security of the nation. This point was eloquently stressed during our joint working group meeting with our counterparts in the United States just last week. It is about the strengths of cooperation, coordination, and a stronger level of coordination between all the agencies that are involved. And to our colleagues in the media, thank you for keeping Nigerians informed. I ask that we allow the investigation to run its course. Where this consignment was going, who was expecting it, are questioned now before the courts and the investigators. And I choose not to prejudge them at this particular instance. Ladies and gentlemen, let me end where I began, with the tables in front of us. Every firearm we stop before it reaches the wrong hands, it's a life that may have been saved. We will never know whose life it is. We will never meet that person, and that person will never know our names. That is exactly why what we are doing this morning is very important. And this is why it is going to continue by the grace of God. The Nigeria Customs Service will remain committed to the protection of our borders and to the shared effort of making our country safer.
I wish to express my profound gratitude on behalf of the National Security Advisor, management and staff of the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons, to the Comptroller General of Customs for his astute leadership, professionalism, and patriotism often demonstrated in all operations of the Nigerian Customs that have led to the interception of illicit weapons at different times, as well as his continuous collaboration with the Center in the fight against proliferation of illicit small arms and light weapons in the country.
Seen rusts in the barrels. So it is not unlikely that this has been manufactured for some time and the owners are trying to find a way to get it into the country. Now, we already have evidence to show that these were falsely declared. We already have evidence to show that they were concealed by vehicles and some other offensive materials that are also prohibited. So they may not have been used. I think they are new. But the most important thing is that all of the numbers that are provided on each piece of arms gives you an indication of when it was manufactured, where it was manufactured, the factory, and all of that. And this is what the experts in the National Center for Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons will do when they see this information. Each of these 140 that we have counted, each of them has serial numbers. So if one of you can move close, you will see that this is 25KM/01192. That tells you something already when you go to your database. And this is 25KM/00183. So they are all serial number. On behalf of the officers and men of the Nigerian Customs Service, I want to hand over this file containing the documents, the preliminary investigation to the Director of the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons to continue your investigations. I also want to hand over this as a symbolic handover of the rifles that are here. In addition, we also have the two suspects, which we are going to be handing over to you in continuation of the investigation. Don't worry, it's not loaded yet. Not ruling out anything. There could be, like we said, these items were concealed and they were not declared, obviously, as pump action. And this is why DACO should get it clear that the people who did this did not do it for any, there was no clear intention. There was no other intention apart from the fact that they want to use it to cause security problems for us in the country. The fact that they have concealed it, the fact that they were looking for accomplices within the customs to help them bring it out, it means that their intentions were not genuine. So there could be collaborations, there could be some people collusion. We will work, from the fact that we have known, we will gradually get towards those unknown facts, and hopefully, if there are any, you use a very nice word, collaboration. I think the right word is collusion. So there could have been some collusion involved, and we'll try and get them. We have this commonly used by our youths. We have on the streets, in schools, most annoyingly in clubs, when they go to clubs and things like that. Some of these people do not know, they are not aware, because they just think that they are taking regular cookies. And it is clearly stated there, there are some nice words. They say vegan friendly. So if you're a vegetarian, you say this is for you. But then there is hemp derived. So this is derived from hemp. And then, of course, Indian hemp. I saw something else again. Yes. Okay, this is already good to go. For those who are members of the club, you know that this is the one they call Baby Debe. Yeah, this is also already hemp derived, and they put a number of very, very interesting things to make it attractive. This is citrus vanilla flavor. This one is berry pie. This one has peach pie. And so our kids must just be very, very, very careful. And they make it look so attractive, so that when you see it, you just want to grab some and munch away. When you munch this, you are not smoking Indian hemp, you are eating Indian hemp, and it's going straight into your body.
You are watching the program Customs Report.
The Nigeria Customs Service Ogun 1 Area Command has intercepted illicit drugs, petroleum products, and other prohibited goods with a combined duty-paid value of 3.574 billion naira in 1 month, as the command intensified its crackdown on smuggling activities along the nation's borders. The acting Customs Area Comptroller of Ogun 1 Command, Deputy Comptroller Oladapo Afeni, disclosed these on Thursday while briefing journalists at the command's headquarters in Idiroko, Ogun State, where seized narcotics were also formally handed over to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Idiroko Special Command, for further investigation.
In line with the mandate of the Comptroller General of Customs, Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, MFR PhD, Ogun 1 Command under my leadership has stepped up operations. We are leveraging enhanced intelligence, modern technology, and stiffer enforcement measures. We will arrest offenders, seize contraband, and ensure that culprits face the full wrath of the law. In recent months, this command has recorded an unprecedented wave of constant back-to-back seizures of foreign parboiled rice and illicit drugs. And the raw determination of our officers on the front line have proven superior. We have consistently dismantled their network, intercepted their goods, and choked their supply lines. We will continue to put them on their toes, hit them very hard by making Ogun 1 Command hostile for them.
Afeni said the command had declared a renewed war against the smuggling of cannabis and other illicit drugs, stressing that the fight required sustained collaboration among law enforcement and security agencies.
Showcasing the virtual proof of our vigilance. The items being paraded today include 2,339 bags of foreign parboiled rice at 50 kg each, 70 cartons of basmati rice, 6,035 parcels of Ghana Loud Indica, cannabis indica, 30 bags of foreign sugars, 2,674 pieces of new shorts and trousers, 11,450 liters of PMS in kegs, 1,750 liters of PMS in drums, 30 kegs of diesels of 25 liters each, 100 bags of fertilizer, 67 bales of second-hand clothing, 2,674 pieces of new shorts and trousers, 3,760 pieces of new tops, 85 pieces of fire extinguisher, 480 cartons of Pure Heaven drinks, 54 packages of oat, 47 cartons of cosmetics, 36 packages of hair accessories, 3 packages of surgical shoes, 127 pieces of new purse. The total duty paid value, DPV, stands at 3.574 billion naira. These are not just numbers. These are millions of doses of devastation that would have otherwise flooded our communities.
The Eastern Marine Command has intercepted goods worth millions of naira from smugglers who wanted to bring in goods from the waterways into the country. The Eastern Marine Command controller also warned would-be importers to resist for smuggling consignments into the country through the waterways.
The Nigeria Customs Service Eastern Marine Command has intercepted 112 pneumatic tires and 680 cartons of smuggled cosmetics along the Oron-Ibaka Cameroon waterways. The seizures were made during an intelligence-led operation conducted by officers of the command as part of efforts to curb smuggling, enforce import regulations, and prevent unsafe products from entering the Nigerian market. The acting comptroller of Eastern Marine Command, the Deputy Comptroller of Customs, Asian Etim Esset, said the operation was aimed at protecting lives and safeguarding legitimate businesses from the adverse effects of illicit trade.
My message to them is to relent from smuggling because it kills the economy of the nation. And my men are very equal to the thugs. In as much as they don't relent, we'll keep pressurizing them to relent from smuggling. We'll suppress them at the minimum level that we can. We have a dynamic controller general. We are well equipped. We are well equipped to the tooth. And we are equal to any smuggling activity on the marine ways. If we don't do this, we can't secure our marine ways for illegal import and export. We are very equipped and we will not stop suppressing smuggling.
As said, the 112 pneumatic tires were found to be unsafe, substandard, and improperly stored, conditions which could expose motorists and other road users to tire failures, blowouts, and potentially fatal accidents.
The Nigerian Customs Service Zone A has officially launched sporting activities in the zone. According to the Assistant Controller of Customs, the service will also make sure that the sporting activities help the Nigerian Customs Service to grow. The event was declared open by the Assistant Controller of Customs Zone A, who says that he will make sure that all sporting activities in the zone are well coordinated by Nigerian Customs Service all the way in Abuja. It was represented at the occasion by Senior Area Controller in Lagos.
The Nigeria Customs Service has launched its maiden Zone A Inter-Command Games competition in Lagos, with Tinkan Island Port Command and Apapa Area Command recording victories in the opening day football fixtures. The competition officially commenced at the Customs Training College Ikeja as part of efforts to promote work-life balance, physical fitness, teamwork, and stronger collaboration among officers across Zone A. Speaking at the opening ceremony, the Zonal Coordinator, Assistant Comptroller General of Customs, Mohammed Babandede, represented by the Customs Area Comptroller, Murtala Mohammed International Airport Command, Comptroller Chidi Nwokore, said the initiative was anchored on the belief that a healthy workforce will translate into improved performance and productivity.
When this idea of Intercommand Games competition was conceived, it was based on a very simple conviction that a healthy workforce guarantees healthy performance and greater productivity. We sincerely appreciate our Zonal Coordinator, Assistant Controller General, ACG Mohammed Babandede, who favorably considered my suggestion for this Intercommand Games competition and took it forward to the Controller General of Customs and Chairman WCO Bashir Adewale Adeni, MFR, PhD, who graciously approved this competition, making it a reality today. The approval demonstrates the CGC's understanding that the strength of the Nigerian Customs Service does not depend only on our training, discipline, and professional competence. It also depends on the physical and mental well-being of the officers who carry out these responsibilities every day.
In his own magnanimity, he wants to increase the cohesiveness and collaboration among ourselves to work as a team, which will boost the morale of the officers across all units and all commands.
Healthy paramilitary organization, sports is a sine qua non, that's second to none for officers. One, it breeds discipline, it breeds hard work, it helps fitness, both physical and mental fitness is required. Then it helps in bonding for officers. This is a means of socialization for officers, and it's a right step in the right direction.
First of its kind, especially in Zone A, and I think it will bring everybody together, and at the same time, work and play is something to go with. We exercise ourselves. It's a time for us to come and relax and see what the boys are doing.
just before another this week edition of the program Customs Report, we brought you a report where the Nigerian Customs Service has continued to seize consignments from smugglers operating along the nation's borderline. For me, Egeseme Edie, thanks for watching.